Hello guys and welcome back to PITSTOP DIY. Today I'm showing you how to replace the seat on your FGT rig. Whether converting your rig into a motion sim or just using it as is, that seat is uncomfortable and I've put up with it for way too long. It's time to change it. And this is how it's done. I'm starting by removing the bottom bolts of the original seat here. Once those rear bolts are removed, we have to slide it up to get access to the bolts under the seat so we can take them off, and that'll give us access to the front bolts there. Removing the frame from the seat is easy enough, and we're just going to set that down right there. Okay, now here are the slides that we're going to use for our replacement seat. I'm hoping they're going to work, so let's see how we go with that. Just testing the movement of them. They haven't been oiled for quite some time, and there's the bolts we'll need to remove. In the meantime, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please feel free to do so. Comment, like and subscribe. Using a correct size Allen key, and I will emphasize correct, I'll try and get rid of them as easy as possible. Having said that, it's a little bit tricky as they're a little bit old, the bolts, and so they're sort of threading a little bit. Someone putting this thing together may have got a bit excited at some point and over-tightened a couple. You know, like those jobs that are meant to take like about 15-20 minutes and like 3 hours later you're still struggling with them? This, of course, was one of them. Not that I was struggling all that hard, but just there was a few issues with bolts not coming loose and such. There goes the first one. Might be a bit tricky to see, but the bolts I'm holding up here are actually a little bit threaded as it is, so that's never fun. And I'm talking about the head being threaded, not the rest of it. And now for the second side. These are a little bit more tricky, and so I had to bring out the correct size Allen key. What I mean by that is the drill, because they were just slipping. Anyway, drill them out, job's done. Now that that's been removed, we can have a look at what we've got left. Now for these seats, the rails are going to have to be wider than the original one to fit. Again, this is trial and error, so if these rails don't work, we have to come up with a different way to do it. And so for that, we have to drill a couple of new holes. Don't mind me, I'm just talking to myself. Alright, so now we're going to add these rails onto the seat itself so that we can get the position correct for when we drill the new holes. We want to do this now rather than later, so that we have accurate dimensions and positioning of the seat to make sure that it's square with the rest of the rig. This turned out to be a little bit tricky because I put one on the wrong way and then realised it had to move up a hole. So anyway, a little bit of back and forth there, but anyway, got it done in the end. Just again, if you guys have any questions or any queries, feel free to comment and I'll do what I can to give you a hand. I'm all about helping out anyone that needs it, and if I can help, that's a bonus. And if you thought I could find the right tools for the job, you'd be incorrect, as I have so many tools and can't keep up. They are literally everywhere, so it took me about 20 minutes to find the right size Allen key. Having said that, I've got about 6 sets of Allen keys floating around. You just have to find the container where they were. So now, once those rails are back on, I'm just going to use a little bit of spray lubricant on the rails. You'll see that soon. And that's just to give them a little bit more movement, as they haven't been oiled ever. And with the original seat being a little bit lighter, a little bit sort of easier to move back and forth, it was never really an issue. Now I positioned those rails on the closest point because the seat mounts that connect to the seat are quite wide as it is, and so I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough space to mount them on the actual rig. Here we are, just aligning it as best we can, of course using very serious measuring tools being my eyeballs, and if in doubt, eyeball it. Remember, we are DIYing here, so if something's a little bit off, we can always fix it. So I'm just going to use a center punch there to mark a couple of dents for the holes there. I've got a little spring-loaded center punch, which is really helpful, really handy. And then we'll start to drill. I'm using here a stepper drill bit, which I found to be quite simple and quite easy. As you can see, it's quite easy just to get the right size hole. So now I'm going to drill the same hole on the other side, as even as possible, and we'll have to see how we go, because if it needs to move back more to make allowance for the seat, the bigger size seat, then we can do so. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. It might interfere with the shifter position, given that it's a bigger seat, but we can always adjust that later on. Good old eyeballs doing the trick there, so I've just moved the hole slightly more center to be even with the other side. And now we drill. Go one more just in case. Now I'm using here a little deburring tool, which has become one of my favourite tools lately, for being able to remove the sharp and pointy bits of the freshly drilled hole, trying to go from top and underneath, just to clean it off as much as possible and create a nice clean tidy hole. Okay, so let's put the seat back on now. We're just going to position it. We've only drilled 2 holes at the moment because we want to make sure that they're even and the same width apart so that they fit on the rig. And then later on we'll go to the front, and then once these are bolted down, then we can see exactly where the front ones are going to sit. I think that looks pretty square. I'm playing around with it. It might move, I don't know, but we'll see. Now, I didn't actually mention this earlier, but I originally thought the bolts were upside down, and so I thought, oh, I'm going to be smart and put them the right way up. That was to my detriment, as there was a particular reason why the nut was actually underneath, rather than the head of the nut being on the top. And of course, being so long since I played with this rig, I forgot all about it. As you'll see here, I've made the miraculous mistake of thinking I know better, and it's caused the seat not to be able to move back, because the head of the nut was actually up, rather down, rather than the opposite way around, and so therefore I had to undo those and swap them back the other way. Anyway, in the meantime, I managed to drill the front holes, which then lined up with the rails from the back. Good old little deburring tool there. And just giving the vacuum a little bit of use just to clean up any shards of metal, any scrapings or filings, just to get rid of it so you don't step on it or cut yourself on it. That's always fun. I highly suggest you get a hole punch and the deburring tool, because those two things are fantastic. They're also quite cheap. Anyway, seat's back on now, so we've got full range of slide. I've drilled the holes, and so all that's left to do now is bolt the 2 front down, which I'll do here in a sec. when I can find the right size bloody Allen key. You'd think finding one size Allen key that would work for the whole thing would be an easy task, and yet I managed to take lots of time to find the right one. And you'd think I'd be a little bit more organised, but of course you can't plan for some things and they just happen. And there goes the old seat. For some reason there's a brake handle attached to it. And there you have it. We've got the belts just mocked up just to be in position to see what they're like. They're not secured at the moment, but we'll do that later on. And just wanted to see what it felt like. I've been saying for quite some time now, since I got the belts, I'll never mock anyone that has belts on a static rig before, as since near this video I've tested it, and it's incredible. Makes a world of difference. And we are done. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, do put them down below. Ask any questions and I'll help you out if I can. We've gone from the FGT seat to the TRX, and this seat is awesome. See you next time.